and so on. So, but when it comes to presenting its own flag and being patriotic, America is really on the top of the lists. And Scandinavian nations, Russia, to some extent United Kingdom, but not that much. Italy, there are also countries which have this tendency of displaying their flag whenever and wherever. This is also comes from the thing that America was built not on any nationality or on any particular, although they are predominantly Americans are, when we sum up the British, the German and the Mexican, they form the majority of the Americans. So we can really put together some cultural or ethnic image of what Americans are, but it's not based on that. American culture is based on this melting pot that you form another form of culture made of all that culture. It seems obvious, but it's not obvious, because for instance in Australia is characterized by this inability of melting all those nationalities together, and it's really it's continuing to be like it was before. So the Poles, which came to Australia like 100 years ago, they still think that they are Poles and so on. It's really almost impossible in America when you have so much tendency to melt with each other, with different culture, and just be American, which is based on characteristics like love of freedom and free enterprise and so on, more than on some characteristics which are ethnic or regional. Okay, that's why, for instance, the local dialects are not very strong in America. For instance, Californians and Boston, they really have their own dialect, sort of, but it's not typical. And although there was no real attempt to make the American sound universally like in the whole of the United States, it got like this anyway. And in countries when there was very huge efforts, there were huge efforts to make one universal literary French or British, there are regionalisms everywhere. Okay, the American sense of humor is not very how to say, it's not very just when you see it, when you know this is American sense of humor. No, you have like very very concrete, very physical sense of humor, very California-like, when which is combined with the obsession about being healthy and young and so on. So when you are old, you are funny and so on. You cannot do something, and we have many American comedians that present this kind of humor, like Louis C.K., for instance, or Louis Black. But you also have this more Jewish Italian situation, like Italian French as a kind of humor, and you have also this verbal kind of humor, and which is Jewish, more New York style. And you have like comedians like Jerry Seinfeld that represent this kind of humor, and so on. And you have also this something of an Italian way of life combined. So, but what's really striking is the American sense of humor is not very, it's not concentrated on praising petty things in life, whereas being very unaffected by big things, like for instance, let's take the British. Their death, it's nothing serious, it's not a problem, but you have to have a very good umbrella, something like this. The petty things important things not that important. So this stoic attitude to life, the Americans don't have that. They like big and important things, and they are like adding importance to the big things. So the humor is sometimes the irony is similar, but it's working more on this California being healthy thing, and not on this not on this model of preferring small